myself.
Okay.
There's anything as crazy as that damn weather.
Yes.
I'm used to work. It doesn't change more than 5 to 10.
Okay, we are live and we're good to start whenever. Actually, before we officially call this meeting to order, since we have so many guests here and we have our newest commissioner joining us, I know, I think it might be best if we all go around and say our name. And also for everyone in the room, we do have one of our commissioners on the phone and we are live streaming on YouTube. Currently no viewers there, but we do have someone on the phone. So just being mindful of that when we're speaking. I'm A.T. Ryan. I'm the Executive Director for the Terre Haute Human Relations Commission. And welcome to this meeting. Whichever way you want to go.
I am Lucy Campbell. I am the new commissioner, and I'm very excited to be here. Nice to meet you all. I am sorry that I missed last meeting. I wasn't aware of my email. but I have been informed of everything that is going on. I was able to see the last video that you had on YouTube, so I saw you talking about me. But anyway, I am very excited, and thank you so much for your support. And I'll be here, working together with you to do wonderful things for the city of Terre Haute.
Yay! Welcome.
And I'm the first of the guests. Sister Barbara Batista. I live over St. Mary of the Woods. I have lived in the city, and I have a lot of, attachments to the city. So I think city, county, a lot of overlap there. And well, I'll just say we're here, and you all can introduce yourself. And we're here as we call ourselves Terre Haute Exploring Mutual Aid, I think is what we've called ourselves. Helping neighbors. It's different. It's just a loosely organized group of concerned residents stepping up to be in relationship with other folks in Terre Haute.
We love that. Thank you. Welcome. And there's agendas. Katie, would you mind grabbing them on the chair outside the door and giving them to our guests so you all can follow along with us? I think maybe some have been grabbed, but for everyone. All right, our next guest, if you want to.
Hello, my name is Chris Williams. I've been helping with some of, the community work, feeding the community there with the helping neighbors. I also do some work with the board there at the Pride Center with Katie. And I'm here today to stand in support of the people who are most vulnerable.
My name is James. I'm a student over at ISU. I'm an organizer just concerned about the community and the city and well-being, and I'm happy to be here today.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown. I also work as an ISU, but I'm not here in that capacity. Today, I do have some various experience working with the homeless community in a number of different places, so that's something I'm bringing today.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us. Hi, I'm Katie Luger, president of the Pride Center of Terre Haute, and then in my full-time job capacity, I'm the director of the Novel Scholars Program at Northwood, and an advisory member to the Human Relations Commission. So not voting, happy to be here, love the group.
Yes, thank you.
Justin Sears, same as Katie, advisory member, non-voting. Work for the police department, public information officer, and thoroughly enjoyed my time working with this board and commission.
I'm Jackie Lauer, and I'm a board member and former teacher and a Hoshian.
Yes. Current, yeah.
It's lots of quality. Right. Hi, I'm Dana Simons. I'm the executive, I'm the board chair. I'm no longer the executive director. I gave that title away. I'm the co-founder and currently the board chair of the Next Step Foundation, which is for 15 years. My husband and I founded it to kind of deal with the addiction issues in this town. And it has grown to, we've been blessed, it's a faith-based organization. We've been blessed to have lots of grants and lots of funding, obviously not in the last year, but prior to that. And so we have 68 beds, we have 14 apartments, we're building a bunch of transitional housing right now. Most of our residents come to us from incarceration, they're 90% homeless. And so we have a hard time making sure, we keep them for 90 days, and then we have a hard time making sure they're gonna be safe after that, so that's why we're building transitional housing to keep them longer in there. We have a pregnant parenting women's program, where we have little apartments that they can live in, we have daycare, that's a new addition as well. So very passionate about the least vulnerable, especially for the substance use disorder, which is, as you know, a huge epidemic in Terre Haute and the surrounding areas, especially the rural counties. So happy, I'm a board member of the commission.
Hello, I'm Uzziah Hutchinson. I am the secretary for the Human Relations Commission, and I work as an educator in the Vigo County School Corporation, and I'm a student at St. Mary Woods College.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Lakeisha Bradley. I am chair of the board of the Human Relations Commission. I'm so excited to be here all the time. I am also an instructor at Indiana State University. I teach in our social work program. Also,
social work.
yes. Also a social worker in practice in the community. And I do a little bit of everything. I'm in the spaces and places to advocate for those who don't have voice, passionate about mental health. That also overlaps with substance use, the unhoused population, or whatever I can contribute to make Terre Haute better is what I'm here for. And so collaborating with other people in the community to do that is the goal.
Yes. Well, thank you all. I think we do need to officially call this meeting to order. Oh, and I gotta do attendance.
5:09, we'll officially call this meeting to order today and do roll call.
Just 1 second, it's loading. Okay, Lakeisha, Uzziah,
Present.
Jackie,
Present.
Katie,
Present.
Sandy, oh my gosh, Dee, I did it. Dee, introduce yourself. So we'll pause. Dee.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dee Reed. I'm Vice Chair of Human Relations Commission, and I retired from St. Mary the Woods College about 2 years ago, where I worked in marketing communications and also in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Thanks so much. And Sandy let me know she would not be here, so she's excused. Dee Reed.
Here.
Justin.
Present.
And Dana.
Present.
All right. And Lucy.
Present.
I added you to the list. I'm AT's behind. Okay, excellent. All right.
You're up.
Turn out my daughter's traveling back from Florida, so checking her location. Approval of the minutes, so how you reviewed the February minutes. So can we have a motion?
A motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Approval of the February meeting minutes as passed.
Okay. So we put our guest speaker up at the top so we could make sure you didn't have to say until the very end if you didn't want to. But I prepared some notes for all of our commissioners, just sharing the questions that you all submitted in advance. I also provided our commissioners with a very brief overview of the Senate now enrolled act at formerly SB 285. Now it will be referred to as SEA 285. The following pages are the actual enrolled act itself, if you haven't had a chance to read them. I also provided some context for kind of what our role as a city was in the advocacy against what was SB 285. Ultimately, I do want to say, you know, both of the representatives that represent the city area voted no on the final time of its, and I commend the mayor. I was on him a lot to continue, especially calling Senator Greg Good, as he was the one we weren't sure about, that like this will not work if we don't have like money to support programs and systems that help our friends who are unhoused. Like we can't ban something that there's nowhere else for people to go, you know. It's so that I think was the thing that kind of swayed his vote ultimately, was that, yeah, like programs like this don't work if you, I mean, that was his reasoning. We might have different views on it, but I would love to turn it over to you all to kind of share what brought you to this group and maybe questions you have for us and how we can work together to help our friends who are experiencing homelessness and educate our community at large.
So it's good to know you have the email that I sent along.
Yes.
Entries, and it was a joint effort by not necessarily those that are here with the group of us, but a few other people from our group that helped me articulate our main concern. What was sent along to you, probably what I want to just reiterate is towards the bottom where it says, overall, the bill seems at odds with the Human Relations Commission's core values of accessibility and belonging, fairness and equity, respect and dignity. And I'm not surprised to come here and hear, how you all are, or many of you were also, not in favor of this bill. So really, we come here today trying to figure out how can we be proactive? How can we, address, for instance, how are we gonna not punish people for being homeless? What's gonna be the mood on the law enforcement side? Are we without some, what's the word, clear guidance? And forgive me, because I'm not always clear what your authority or role is in the midst of all of this, but is it now, do we just start creating, if not policies, some sort of guidelines to encourage not profiling people that go to the library to use a computer that appear to be homeless, and so that then they're reluctant to even go to the library to communicate with their caseworker or whoever else they're communicating with. Those are the kinds of things that we were particularly concerned about. What's going to be the response? The bill, if I understand it right, and I am no lawyer, if I understand it right, it mandates that the police department has to report the numbers of people that they've, not necessarily just picked up, but the numbers of people they've interacted with? Is that
It says additional provisions require local law enforcement agencies to track, this is my own notes, to track and report data on citations and arrests relating to the camping ban and reinforce, this is the other piece, is that local governments may not prohibit or discourage enforcement of these activities. So I think they're watching for city councils, for example, to pass their own ordinances that would try to
Soften it.
Yes. Something that I heard you say was how do we I also want to add that the first step in the bill, or from what I understand, and for those who maybe are unfamiliar, is that that they have to encourage them to go. They can't just, the first thing they can't just arrest someone. They're supposed to, a graduated response. But I see a hand, so please go ahead.
So if I can interject, just.
And just, let's see if we have to, how's that?
Yeah. When bills like this are passed or even talked about, it's important for me to inform how we address these issues, obviously. The Terre Haute Police Department does not seek out, it does not target, it does not look for the homeless to arrest the homeless by any means. We typically a two-pronged approach on how we encounter and try to help with these issues. One is we have two social workers currently in the Terre Haute Police Department, and they've pretty much converted everything that they do with mental health, or what we're designed to do with mental health, that's completely flexed to dealing with the homeless. So that's the proactive approach that we do with the homeless. We obviously know there's an issue in Terre Haute. Every day they deal with different places, they go out, they seek the homeless to try to provide resources and the preventative aspect of it. Now, as far as our officers dealing with the homeless, we respond as the community requests us. Our officers aren't proactively seeking the homeless. The library is right across from the Terre Haute Police Department. We're in there every day. I have a great relationship with the Peaceful Library. We're in there people during the day use their resources, their Wi-Fi and everything else. And I don't know the last time we've had an issue of the library. Again, it's right across from the police department, so you would feel pretty safe there. So again, we don't seek out to arrest. And even in this, I have misconceptions of how this was written, who wrote it, why they wrote it, certain things that were written in it, what guidance they received. Don't get me wrong. It's a Class C misdemeanor. So even after the graduated response that is required by this, the warning, 48 hours, there has to be open beds within 5 miles. And I've had several internal meetings with a few people in the police department, and this isn't just going to be on us. I think there's a place for the Human Relations Commission to help us with the beds, or to direct that, who are the facilities that are going to do that. You talked about reporting. Reporting goes to the state police. It just so happens that it's very convenient that we use the same reporting programs that the state police do, so we'll create that, and reporting should be pretty easy with that, on top of what our social workers already do. I think one of our social workers is better at keeping track of stats than the other, and that goes with anything. They're both, great people. So that we're going to be doing more than what's already required. And quite honestly, what is written here, we already go above and beyond. We provide the resources. The emergency detention is one of the big things that I think was in here, to provide the aid before you do enforcement. Some of the language in that was a little bit of confusing, or how they would interpret some of it. We talked about greatly disabled. I think that was one of your notes.
Yes.
We're not clinicians that are going to do a diagnosis. That's already going to be done by somebody else that is going to be used. However, the language that was used in the bill with that already describes an immediate detention, and our officers deal with that every day. Our officers deal and encounter the homeless more than anybody in the city. And that's a daily basis. They have the resources and the training that they have. And I would say that our arrests are very few for anything that would be camping related by any means. If we have any, it's usually another crime that has been committed. And usually those, for the most part, are petty. Although over the last couple of months, we've had some pretty serious ones, in one in Fairbanks Park and one of the shelters doing the same thing. So, but that's kind of where we're at with that. I know that might touch some of your questions right there. There's several parts of this that aren't just the police department that we're going to have to encompass and encounter. Thankfully, we've got until July 1st to figure it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I know.
Yes, yeah.
I think that's I think part of the language in there about the emergency, psychiatric services, for example, too. Bills like this, when they come through our community, they put strain on our community through in a blanket of ways. When we have to incarcerate more people, our jail is put under more pressure, it costs more money, it makes for unsafer conditions when there's overcrowding. Not only this, when, if there are alternative solutions, of course, but it's if we're, putting people on 5150 psychiatric hold, we're also introducing strain to our mental health caregivers in the community. I think the primary concern on our side of things is we want to ensure that enforcement first is focusing on getting these people connected to the resources that will never be given to either jobs or housing, and not further displace them away from those opportunities or deter them further from accessing the resources necessary. And that's why we cite examples like the libraries, because we are aware that these are hubs for people to access the information, the resources have the meetings that they need to have in order to get connected with the tools that can help them to be successful. And when bills like this are introduced, it is a great fear that regardless of the level of enforcement, it will still displace people further away from the success they need to still have.
We share your concern.
Absolutely.
That's good to
We
hear,
are-
and that's really why we're here.
Yeah,
We're not
no,
just like,
I think-
And part of it is, you know, we're a commission that is mandated by, you know, law, by the statute. They have, you have to have a human relations commission. We're happy we still exist, but they haven't gotten rid of us, right? Really. And that we have a mayor that supports us, you know, and so we are, and really, there's only one person that's actually full-time ambulance employee. But there's not a lot of power we have in terms of, you know, other than, you know, Brandon and you, it's talking to the state. So the power that we do have is around the table of the ways that we can influence, you know, and try to address some of these, because there is, you know, because we deal with it every day. And we do have housing first in this community with mental health care. That's under siege right now.
Yes.
And from the federal government, they're looking to take away housing first. We lose housing first, right, which is an evidence-based, proven model where you can just house them. We have Mullen Flats that we never had before, the Lotus Centers. We have low barrier shelter, we've never had that in history. Those are all endangered right now. Because their funding all comes from federal funding. So the proactive thing, I'm very interested in how we, because there's another bill that passed that nobody's talking about, right? So the other bill is the SNAP Medicaid, right? So we, at Next Step, we rely on Medicaid. We have 100% Medicaid because they're homeless. They don't, right? We don't take commercial insurance, and even if we did, I don't know who would come to us if we found commercial insurance. Right? So they, you know, they don't have funds to pay for our services, and we've already seen it happening. Well, now the January 2027, we're going to see the federal government said they have to work 20 hours a week. So the state of Indiana decides to trump that. Pardon me.
no pun sorry, that was probably,
They decide to make it worse, right? By saying, okay, we're gonna pass our own version of that, and we're gonna do, and this is the thing that scares me so much, is we're gonna make them work, and we're gonna make them work 20 hours a week, or volunteer 20 hours a week. And we decided we're gonna implement a 3-month look back. Okay, so when they want Medicaid, they have to have been working 80 hours a month for 3 months. No exception for incarceration. So what that means is anybody incarcerated, they shut their Medicaid off, they're out of incarceration, we get those people, right?
And have
And
a
for 3
3-month
months, they're
waiting
not gonna have any coverage. So we can't get them over to dentist, we can't get them to medical care, we can't get paid, that's very scary, right? And that's right upon us, that's gonna be, you know, 8 months away when we're gonna start seeing that happen. We are already seeing them, I have a dedicated staff member that does nothing but teach them to look at their portal and understand, because they're homeless. So they're not getting wherever their last address was, gets a notice of, we need to have your latest proof of residence, whatever the weird things they want to have. This is before work requirements, it's just their standard stuff. So they don't get that, so they get shut off. And then we get on there and find out why they're shut off. Well, they want a letter of residency or whatever they want, right? So we get that to them to get it turned back on. And we're trying to train them. You need to stay on top of this because it's gonna get worse, right? Because now the red tape, they're hoping to throw off 250 to 300,000 people by just the red tape. Because they're all working. Our people work, they could get jobs, right? So they are working, and so they're eligible, but they're gonna get thrown off because of red tape. We didn't get it, or you didn't give us the right stuff, or, so that's something as well we can try and be proactive about.
I have a quick comment and question. So I know a lot of this it's starting off on their criminalization front, first of all, just banning the sleeping on public property. But then the second part is basically trying to eliminate loopholes essentially for the city ordinances. And then.
It does, yes.
Okay, and then they're requiring reporting. Question on the reporting part before I have my second question. Is the report just a number or is it names?
Again,
Do we know?
it's not clarified in
We
this
don't
bill,
tell
but at a minimum, it's going to be number.
Okay, because that's one of my concerns, because regardless, that is, the government is collecting lists of names, whether it's through the BMV, it's homeless folks. It's basically putting marginalized people on the list, a roster to be targeted, and that makes me nervous. So that's, I just wanted to vocalize that, and I don't know.
Typically, if it falls in line with what would be as the NIBRS or UCR that goes to the state, to their reporting crimes and whatnot, that is numbers. That is essentially.
Because the only thing that I worry is like, okay, are they gonna pull information of usage rates because of this program? And so anyways, that's just one thing I wanted to have on people's.
But there will have to be, sorry, Katie, there will have to be some sort of record there, because
Yeah.
they also list that within a 6-month period, if you've been at a facility. So there will have to be some sort of record of it
Yeah.
there to verify.
I do wonder though of like, especially mentioning of the continuum of care, which is the like our state's how the state addresses homelessness, and they have a coordinated entry program that does collect information and names to help people get evaluated to see if they're eligible to be placed into like emergency housing. And so I'm like, okay, just the mention of that, like, are they trying to like cross-reference? I mean, like, I don't totally know, but it does bring up another question of like, okay, how are they using this in the broader continuum of care?
And I
Which
do have a
wouldn't call it
question
care.
about like the numbers. When we say numbers, are we talking about like location data, area? When we say numbers,
Yeah,
what numbers are we referring
Well,
to?
and again, it's not truly clarified.
Yeah.
Initially, if you read it as a layperson, it's almost how many people were arrested for this violation is the way I say
That's what
that.
it looks like.
That's what it looks like. I don't
Yeah.
think they're gonna use it for any type of data at that point, other than if you violate that.
Yeah.
And then speaking of violation.
Yeah.
And if you can see misdemeanor, doesn't go to jail, right?
Yes.
It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And then also it does list, and I think our city court and our now Division 5 that hears all these cases does a fantastic job of diversion and everything else, because they want more compliance and assistance, everything from, I would say, an issue like this that would arise to a suspended driver's license. They'll extend it to where people have 2-3 years working through the process. We'd rather have you get a license than any more fines.
But then it kind of depends on who's in power, the judges, if that changes, right? But
It does, but the caseload is so much that if you wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. Did you have?
Possible.
A couple of thoughts. First, one thing I found encouraging in here is that it does leave room for diversion programs, right?
Yes.
And that seems like the place where this commission has the most power to make sure that that's in place, so that law enforcement has an option always in front of the criminalization. And that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, I think, talking about Class C misdemeanors, my experience seeing in San Diego where homelessness was criminalized is that very quickly becomes a trap for homeless people, because they can't make it to court dates, right? So then they have a court warrant, they can't pay fines, and they have a warrant for that, and they end up, racking up these kind of small
Fees
charges
and
that
fines.
turn into a very hard to. And so what San Diego had to create for that was an entire court that dealt with homeless people that then would come in with like 15 different kind of petty warrants to clear all those, and they would, divert people to treatment programs and so forth. And the court was pretty good, but the point was it required a whole infrastructure, because the kind of thing that for, someone who has, a house and a car and an alarm clock and, money, right, clearing a misdemeanor is fairly easy, but for someone who doesn't have that, it can be a real trap. And then of course that influences work potentially and all those things, right? And then the last thing I wanted to mention is about the connection between mental health and homelessness, which is to say that the research on this is very clear, which is that interruption to sleep is like terrible for mental health and has all kinds of mental health symptoms, right? And so homeless people often present with symptoms similar to people with mental health problems that can be entirely just caused by the fact that they're sleeping rough, which not uncommonly is actually made worse by being woken up by the police if they're like sleeping from the day and so forth, right? And so I think it is worrying the way that the law seems to equate homelessness with mental health problems, and in particular the choice not to go to a shelter, which often homeless people have very good reasons why they don't want to go to shelters, including if they've been victimized to shelters, if they are excluded from shelters due to identity, right? If they any number of reasons, but it doesn't give any kind of space for that someone.
But also we need to add other conditions.
Mhm.
You can add alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
So my concern is data, because if we don't have data, how can we manage how many, what's the need? You know, is this a priority in our community? So and as you said, it's really difficult to target each one, because once they get in trouble with the police, less likely that they're gonna make it. So
Is
that's
this
to be
the
careful
topic
with
at
all
the
of this.
homeless coalition? Because
So-
we have a homeless coalition.
Yes.
So I wonder,
Yeah, so I attend all of our homeless coalition meetings. And at our most recent one, it did not come up. I don't know if it had been signed into law though at that
Okay.
point. But and we were talking about it before and, advocating, please call, and they were. But the other thing is, so, for example, been very involved with the warming center effort that has been kind of one of my projects on behalf of the mayor's office. But we were also discussing how, when something like this was presented at the city level a while back, that this is absolutely not something we want to do locally. But we do need to have a task force to address, like, how are we collectively as a city and probably as a county addressing homelessness. And so that'll be kind of it won't be associated with the homeless coalition, but hopefully this spring we will be able to launch like a task force to research and develop evidence-based solutions to address homelessness, and how do we improve the work that we're already doing. I think right now, the city's relationship with our nonprofit providers is at an all-time high. Like, I don't think we have ever been,
We work hand in glove.
yes, and I don't think it has ever been that close. Social workers working closely with our PATH program, working closely with our day center, with the Lotus Center, with so I think we do have really good relationships there between the folks that have been in this work and doing the work, and I'm confident that will be what helps us manage through this time. We can just go around, yeah.
okay, I am new on this, but in my opinion, having looking at this law, I think it's very important for us to know the information out there already, and also to use the resources that gave us information. For example, research. As you have done other projects with Indiana State University, perhaps there is something already done
Yeah.
that we can, draw information from in order for us to have, knowledge of what exactly,
100%.
what programs are there already established,
Yeah.
and how we can connect that to this.
Absolutely. Oh, 1000%. Yeah. Yeah.
And then my thought was to add, probably my only other question or hope maybe is, and it's been brought up, but is there some way that this commission can help, whether it's fundraise or at least bring it to the awareness of the residents of Terre Haute, that these nonprofits are gonna have they're being inundated, they're maxed out. And this, I tend to call it the criminalization of homelessness, is only going worse. It's only gonna, because like you say, Jamie, not every person is gonna be able to go to the Lotus Center, even if there is a bed there, because they've been accosted there, or it doesn't fit. You can't fit a square hole in a round peg.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Misstep is gonna lead to.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering if that's even within your purview, to whether that's the task force. Is it coming out of this commission or coming out of city government, or where?
Yeah.
Who's commissioning the task force.
It'll be and the mayor is commissioning the task force, but it'll be A.T. Ryan figuring it out. But go ahead, yes, as many. Go ahead.
A lot of what we've discussed today is like a proactive approach, and what I see here today is that there's already a ton of coalitions, like inside of the organizations that want to aid in this issue. So maybe that looks like maybe like an internal memo being like, hey, we know this thing has happened. What's like a brainstorm of ways that we can help support this community through a time that would be maybe confusing or hard to navigate. And how do we start those conversations in our previously existing silos of support? That way, maybe the police department has better access to resources to divert them, so we're not putting all of the strain on the social workers. Maybe there's other solutions.
Part of the bill that is going to be confusing is identifying those resources and who is qualified or who's not.
And that was one thing that I really struggled with the bill, is it puts a lot off on the local districts. That was why that's why I was a bit largely against this bill. Is not only is it ethically unjustifiable, but it puts all of that labor onto the local community without any additional funding.
Yes. Yes, which is why I think we got Senator Good to vote. You know, as we said, unless you're attaching money to this, whatever it is. Yeah, I think he agrees. And then Katie, and then I had one more thing.
Well, and part of that is the money part. I mean, if you saw the news, the county council voted against funding warming centers, which is going to impact this. If people don't have access to the warming centers, where are they gonna go? They will be outside, right?
And let's talk about how new the warming centers are.
Right.
And I've been here long enough where we opened our doors when it was cold. Because
Yeah.
there was no warming center for years. So now we made this progress, the city steps up, and, you know, and then it's.
So I feel like county-wise, we have some barriers.
Yes.
Some, perhaps, we will need to find some additional coalition building there.
Yes.
We do. Our is short county, that's.
I know where I'm at.
Jackie just said that.
I'll share more thoughts later.
So I think funding is a huge piece of this. And I don't think that's something, I mean, we've sponsored as a commission things, but our funding is a little bit different. So I think kind of figuring out, I don't know if it's a United Way grant partnership or something. I know that they have something that they are usually a good funnel source to distribute. And so maybe we can approach them as like a hub, maybe on the grant funding. So I don't know. It's just a thought, but
We don't have funding to be able to do it. We don't have the ability to do fundraising, right? Because that would be.
Not really like but I think that there's opportunities. Maybe it is more of a partnership with the Homeless Coalition. Which I please, if you are available, they are during the day. So I know that's like not always convenient for folks. They're the second Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. at the local library in the basement, the main branch. But I was going to also add something, you know, you all had said about like providing like resources to folks. And maybe this is also the resources that like our police officers are carrying to like hand to folks. And I know that like, a packet of paper might get lost and it might not, but having something, the library has created a community resource guide that lists where are all of the local shelters, where the soup kitchens, and like it's super minimal. But God bless the library, like love them for putting that together. And I've given it to our building inspectors who meet folks who are being, you know, aren't able to live in their home anymore because it's being condemned. And they like, here's like, you know, we use that resource a lot, but could it be better or different? Or could we take some of that and tailor that to help folks get connected with resources? And again, like I know a packet of papers is like, might not be the thing that like helps somebody immediately, but, something to have something that's like, that helps folks be like, okay, if I don't know, this is where I could go to like get the information.
You can do everything from complete sleeping bag kits, to procedures to, cold weather, military survival stuff. And when you talk about the county, let me touch on that a little bit.
Sorry.
No.
Actually, I'm not sorry.
No.
Yeah, no.
I say when you talk about a partnership with a county, I say you're aiming small.
Yeah.
We're the biggest city within 7 counties.
Yeah.
A large percent of the population that is homeless is not from Terre Haute.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so having all of our caring community actually kind of turns into an issue that we create. And it's a good thing to have, but it has that. So I would say that we need to look at a bigger area of contributions.
Have that West Central Indiana
Yeah,
partnership
why not?
for
To an extent,
against
because
homelessness.
it is true. And I say this and just to give a little bit of merit, I've been a police officer for over 22 years. When I first started, I knew the 15 homeless people that were here, because in the winter, everybody else would migrate south, or they had somewhere to go for the winter. I knew who to buy a cup of coffee for at 13th and Poplar, who was behind that alley, and then somebody called in and was trying to get a pizza at 2 o'clock in Papa Johnsonville. That's how it's changed over the last 20 years, and the evolution is crazy. It's a lot
You
of
see more and more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I speak at St. Ben's Church, and they feed on a daily basis 150 to 175 people.
Yes.
More on the weekends, so when they do that.
Yeah.
So I would say that, but I deal with that, and when you talk about warming center, every day a warming center was in minus like 4 or 5, I was in them. I was in them every night with the people, talking, having conversations with the staff, the Wellness Center, the Pathway House. Chief Barrett was with me quite a bit at the time. We would go out and we would go pick people up or find people or start at the pathways. Who are you missing that you're supposed to be here? We go find them, bring them to shelters. So the partnerships you're talking about, yeah, we're police department are in there.
Yes.
in there
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
But I would say we're aiming small when we're doing that as far as contributions, because we're taking care of a problem, we're trying to address a problem that we've inherited from definitely.
And
Absolutely.
that is actually the Homeless Coalition. They
Yeah,
serve
most
all
probably.
7 counties and the surrounding
Yes.
area.
Well, then you talk about incarceration, but then you talk about as well as a lot of the
No,
programs that they come for a reason.
Let's get more.
People don't finish a program, or they don't complete a program, whether it's the Hamilton Center or
Yes.
several of them, and then they don't do anything to help them get back to where they're from. We've had grants for, we've shipped people back, and I say ship loosely, we buy tickets on the buses and everything else. We've sent them as far back as North Carolina from the police.
Yeah.
Or further.
Or, yeah, I mean, I just know that we bought a ticket from North Carolina personally.
Yeah.
And the
Did
people
you
come
have
from all over.
one more thought?
I do have something I'd like to say, because I think the issues that you're touching on right here, the reason we have people from the surrounding counties coming to Vigo County is because homelessness is not an issue, it is a structural failure. So when they are having resources identified to them in an area that has better infrastructure, it is natural that they are being guided here.
Yeah.
No, now.
I'm very passionate on this front. It's very important that we reshape the language of homelessness as an issue that's one of structural failure.
Yeah, and I think too, we're in a good position to collaborate and provide good recommendations and move people forward on this too. And so, especially on like a procedural front, if we can really reinforce the helpful parts of the community resources that we do have.
Yeah.
And try to cut out the criminalization part, it's like,
Yeah.
full stop, just cut it out.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're kind of in a weird spot with the actual language, but since there is, it's a bad bill, but because there's not,
Yeah.
specific language of how to actually implement this, I think that's the part that we take advantage of and create a better system. So that way it is helpful, we use the social workers, we use the programs, we use the homeless, task force.
Yeah, when we partnered with we created the Wabasha Recovery Center, and then we spun it off into its own 501c3, and it's a hub where people can go and find all kinds of resources for free. But we partnered with law enforcement for a program called CLEAR, which was Choose Law Enforcement Assisted Recovery. And it was a card that they could give out to somebody instead of arresting them for methamphetamine. They could say, you know what, we can assist you. Law enforcement can assist you to get into the diversion program.
Sometimes we drove them to the night.
What?
Sometimes we drove them to the
Yeah, sometimes they took them over to the center right there, right? We're not, and again, it's a diversion program. We try to divert them from going to jail
And so there's ways, there's lots of ways to
Yeah.
partner.
Being homeless isn't
Yeah.
criminal. We would gladly give it to somebody else to respond to all the calls. You know,
Yeah.
The police department does,
Yeah.
you know,
And
but
yeah,
unfortunately, we're 24/7,
ahead.
365.
yeah.
No, I just like that. Just like an interesting concept of cards, connecting to resources rather than the rest. And I think if we
Right.
institute similar policies here,
Mm,
that may be a sound
mhm.
answer until we
Yeah.
can figure out.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that, yeah, I mean, the other thing here, I'm like, love that card to be like, go here and you'll get housed within 10 days. And because we have enough housing in Terre Haute. That is the bigger, no, but I'm saying like, how do we also not end the conversation with, here's a car, to maybe get housed in 6 years, we've all heard those stories of, yeah, like, I think, right, yeah, like right now we have a lot of community empathy around this, for better or worse, that the county council's vote brought a lot of attention to this, and it has made me realize that a lot, like sometimes I feel alone and feeling like, okay, nobody cares about this, it's such a battle, but yeah, like helping people to understand, yes, structural failure of like, we don't have housing, coordinated entry fails folks because they have to go on this long list before they can get housed. Like, shouldn't be a list.
Right.
Like, that's nuts. There should be homes.
Can that vote come up again? Can that?
The county council, the warming center.
Yes.
Yes, I will share. Yes, I can share now, but I want to make sure we tie this conversation up.
Just to kind of get some clarity, so I know that when I retell. or
Yes,
share-
what we're doing.
So I think I'm accurate to say that, Justin, that you're saying you're still looking for some clarity around some of the implementation. Some of what looks like you have to do this and you have to do that. Is that right? Did you say it's a little unclear still?
Yeah, absolutely. So spelling out different parts of it that they added, kind of three things in. Reporting still has to be clarified. Still have to clarify, visit programs and diversion programs and that, not necessarily diversion programs, those are already in place. But the
Stair-step enforcement.
Well, the graduation, that's kind of in itself as well too. What is a bed, what is a facility,
Okay.
Within 5 miles? I'm sure right now, at a minimum, it'd be both hospitals and Hamilton Center would be the minimum 3. How do we keep track of those? How do we keep track of what beds are open, what beds are not? Is there a database on the weekends that my officers know that they can access it at 2 o'clock in the morning? Some different things like that. So yeah, there's some clarity on there.
Yeah.
Again, but our
there's
mission
not.
as a police department hasn't changed. So like I said earlier, we're not proactively trying to arrest people.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, it's not it. Believe it or not, we have other things to do.
I bet you have a lot of bigger things to
Yes,
do.
that-
It's in the right policy.
So to target homeless people is not
Yeah.
for, again, I use C misdemeanor. They're not going to jail, so there's no reason for somebody that I've heard one extreme to the other for stats to make, nobody's arrested homeless people for stats. It doesn't do any good.
Good to hear, good to hear. My other clarification is around, maybe it's around this task force that's coming, or is it the coalition? This notion of improving the resources for the nonprofit so that the collaboration can happen better, we can beef up, sorry for the vegetarians.
That's
So we
okay.
can beef up the resources. Is that something that this commission is, just even by how you speak about things in the public, or is that something the commission does, or is that going on this new task force, or is that the coalition, the homeless coalition, that's the whole Wabash Valley? Where can I see that action, or where can I see
Yeah.
to help that happen?
That's the
That's
right
a great
question.
question.
Yes.
That's the right question. So I can't speak to the task force, but to Justin's point, and then I have to exit, it's going beyond the county, right? Because all of us in our own little pockets are trying to do something, but not realizing more and we're stronger together.
Yeah.
And having
That's
those
right.
relationships with those counties that are, people are coming here as far as, and that's impacting the mental health space, that's the space that I'm also in.
Yeah.
Our facilities are getting flooded with people who are not from the county, so then therefore we're putting more resources into helping those people, and the people who actually live in the county can't get access to those resources. So building those bridges with those external
And I think the player,
areas is helpful.
Yeah.
And then all of us who want to do the work educate other people. So we may not necessarily be able to do it as the face of the commission, but we're community members
Yes.
who lets each one reach one, teach one.
See, the issue here is not communication. Perhaps there is something out there that we are not aware of, that we're not connecting with, that we can put all of the resources together.
well, and I would say when we look at the counties, the voice of the people is the United Way of the Wabash
So-
Valley. The United Way of the Wabash Valley. They cover all the counties. The community fund. If we're talking about funding and helping nonprofits, the voice needs to be people that have funding, right? Like United Way.
Yes.
They can get funding, distribute funding. They've made the biggest impact for us, for all the nonprofits. You know, the biggest grants they've been able to get federally have come by a coalition, right? So they're the Sullivan County, we have the Montgomery County, you know, it's gotta be someone like that. We don't have the marketing expertise, the ability to speak to the public, to be able to raise funds and say, we need more resources.
Yes.
But we do have a community member in the community foundation, the Wabash Valley, you know, they were very involved with listening sessions in all the counties about homelessness,
Community
about,
sessions.
yeah.
Events. Funding, yes. The flip side of what I'm talking about, of sharing and educating other people, is that educating them on how they can help impact the policies
Yes.
that are coming forward. If you know the voting statistics of Terre Haute, Vigo County, or surrounding county, it's very low, so it's easy to get a lot of this legislation passed, because whether people care or they don't know, or they don't understand the breakdown, like this conversation is great, of having, let's break down the bill and what it looks like, and the clarity of, there's no clarity of how you implement it. A lot of the legislation, that's how it's coming. It's, we want this policy and we're passing this policy, but you figure out how to implement it. And then there's no fact checking of, are you gonna report? Or what numbers, or how, right?
They didn't even touch that part.
Exactly, but a lot of that is intentional. So if we're educating others in the community about how policies will impact the community, even if they're not unhoused, it still impacts us who are in the community. And I think that's what's lacking in our area. There are several of us who care, and oftentimes they're just not at the table or in the room. And so let's educate those people so we can bring them in the room, at the table, to help make more impact with policies and preventing these policies from getting passed.
The commission's not without power though to help move this stuff forward too, because
Right.
I think some of the things we've done has been highly effective, and so, just solutions, next steps wise, I feel like that homelessness coalition and task force that's going to like,
Yeah.
that activities going to be happening there, because they have the main stakeholders there, but we can help support and coordinate that work too.
Yeah.
And I know this has been more like, I think kind of also commiserating together, and also feeling this is very frustrating and horrible, and it's like, we see the, like, we're having premonitions right now,
Yeah.
this horrible impact that it's gonna have on our
Yeah.
community. But I think that these next steps, at these next meetings that we have coming up, maybe we can be a little bit more solution focused on actual steps, because I know we're just kind of talking about.
Well, I appreciate the hearing us out and.
Oh, absolutely. And you're always welcome to come back.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, and like.
We're trying to make these more welcoming, yes, everyone is always welcome. Or you can watch online.
I got out of my own house meeting of 29 other months.
Oh, great. Well, they can all come too next time. Go ahead, sorry.
Honestly, it seems that important information coming forward is if the current system of progressive things is running out, right? So if we're running out of diversions and so forth, such that people aren't getting citations, like I think we need that information to come back to the commission so we can say, we know it's broke, we don't have enough, but it's broken.
I think also we might have a listening ear in one of our council people Councilmember Amanda Thompson had talked about, she is a public defender helping folks who maybe have been cited, and maybe we ask her to help if, that folks do end up being cited or for whatever reason, like, can she advise us on what does that look like once they have to go to court, and like who's advocating. I know she's just been vocal, so we can maybe ask her to take some action in that regard.
So what is our next step?
For-
Discussing that.
I think we need to continue the conversation at our next meeting. Maybe brainstorm some more action items. I would really love for you all to come or have a representative come to the homeless coalition,
Yes.
because I think that we're going to building
I need
more,
information.
building more coalition there.
Second Tuesday, 11
Second
a.m.
Tuesday, correct.
Okay.
And then also
They
kind
really
of
have more teeth.
that
Yes.
first action item that you said of like kind of working with law enforcement to clarify like how they're going to be connecting people to resources before there's ever even discussion of an arrest or court dates or whatever. Like how do we build that? How do maybe we invite our social workers to come and talk with them about kind of what are they already doing? Because like
Exactly.
They are
Justin
already-
said, they're
they're
already
already doing
doing, and how do we make sure that
We fought
that
hard to get those
even
social workers
that-
on.
if there are ways that we can help share new resources with them, that we're doing that, but also to help educate our community about what's maybe already being done that is proactive, because I think that sometimes is a harm, is that we don't always know that maybe sometimes there is good work already happening, and then people get confused and
Perhaps
Yeah.
educated with a nod to, these are
Yeah.
not-for-profits, and let me define what not-for-profit means.
Yeah.
Donations.
yeah.
We're all dying out here. Well, I'll just tell you, I'll just give you an example of proactive planning. We have 68 beds, right, for substance use disorder. And we just went through a massive reduction of staff for the first time, and it was painful, right? These are people who don't make a lot of money anyway, and they're peer coaches, they're high school, it was very painful. But we did that to be prepared so that we can get by with 35 beds out of our 70. So 50%, I need 50% of people to have Medicaid. So being prepared for, 50% of them are not going to have Medicaid. So now I'm setting aside 35 beds for non-paying. People that I can just give beds to that don't have money, don't have to pay, don't have insurance. So we can be prepared for that, so that we can open up more beds, because we know it's coming, right? The service is not needed. They all need the need for substance use disorder, is gonna be there. But proactively, I'm trying to get my budget in line to say, what can we do so we can free up some free beds, right? And then we have we got a gal from prison that was released to us, and she gets here, and we're like, okay, what are we supposed to do here? She is not capable, she's not cognitively capable, she has no affect, she needs wraparound services, and she's not gonna get a job, and she won't get a Lotus Center. I'm gonna send her to Lotus Center, she'll be eaten alive. And we're just keeping her safe right now, like, okay, you can stay in our house, and we're gonna try to find you somewhere that will be appropriate for you, right? Because we're not a homeless shelter, but I'm not gonna send you out on the street, because you're not capable, you need wraparound service, and there's so few of that. Trying to get her into Unity Village, trying to get her into, they closed down the dual diagnosis house at Hamilton. Yeah, so it's gonna get, the resources are gonna get squashed, and then we need to be aware of the fact that we're gonna lose resources here. So now we have this coming at us,
And
and
if
we have less places to place
if this
people.
this conversation, like I think we talked about the homeless coalition, but also if we need to have a conversation separate outside of this group, like just to talk about this more, I'm very
Yes.
open
I
to that.
appreciate that we've used a lot of your time.
Yeah, that's
April
okay.
14th. Is that the next one?
No, it is not. So if you look on the website, it is listed correctly. We will not be meeting on the third Wednesday. It's technically the fourth Wednesday, and that's because I am out of town. And so it does say, if otherwise indicated, and the date is right, but it is not.
No, sorry, the homeless.
Oh, the homeless. I'm like, ours would have been some, I don't know. Our meeting is not whatever you'd think it would be. Yes. They do have a virtual option as well, but I would recommend coming in person. Correct. Yep, at 11 a.m. Vigo County Public
And that's
Library.
around the table are all the nonprofit, it's anybody who touches the homeless community. So that is all the people serving the homeless community.
Yeah,
Right,
and
from
I'll-
all the different agencies.
For the whole Wabash Valley.
Correct. So next step is there, and
Our
But
social
I'll-
workers are there, right?
yes,
Yeah.
Chris and
Christy knows.
Christy.
Is it just 1 hour?
Just 1 hour. Yeah, they're really good at whereas we are less good about the time.
At the library.
At the library downstairs. Yes.
At
Yes.
11 a.m.
Yes. Okay. Oh, great. Thank you.
Thanks, I feel like we've used, it's been a good conversation, and I feel like we've used.
Yeah. No, you're good.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you too. Let me go just dropping it.
Thanks,
Bye.
Have a good one.
I think Dana, you're taking over.
Okay, yes, I'll take over. Okay, so, let's do this, director's report.
All right. It's listed in your binders as director's report. As always, I list all of my meetings that I've attended. A lot of it was going around to our second grade classrooms, which I will talk about in a little bit. Yeah, kind of the basic stuff. But warming center, I do want to just briefly touch on that. You got my long email. Those were my reactionary thoughts. But just a brief update. So I think I should probably start with county council. So you probably saw it in my email. It was maybe a little bit confusing. But so in December, the county council, it was longer. It was way before that. It was like in October, we went to the commissioners and we were like, give us money. And actually, Commissioner Schweitzer said, oh, let's give them more money. And I was like, great. So we had gone in asking for like $6,000. And he's like, you should ask for $30,000. And I was like, great, let's do it. So then we had to go to the county council to ask for this money. We asked for $30,000. They made an amendment saying that they would give us $15,000. We're like, that's still great. That'll get us through the season. Awesome. They didn't encumber it, which means that they did not submit paperwork. This is the county auditor didn't do this.
Yeah.
Did not submit the paperwork to have this money be like, it hasn't been spent, but we're going to spend it right now. He told us this after we realized this, and he said, it's on me. Just come back and they will reappropriate it. And I was like, okay, that gives me some confidence. They've now publicly stated that they were confused about that. So we're going with that they were confused when we went back. And so they thought it was an additional request. They didn't approve it. But now that they're not confused, they'd like us to come back. Yes, to reappropriate this money. And so my plan is to just go ahead and ask for next year's money too.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think they're going to get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
We already have it.
I think they're.
And I'm going to make sure that there's no more confusion. But anyway, I did want to share a couple other updates, just kind of numbers and sharing like where we're at. So originally when we signed our MOU with Mental Health America running Lotus Center, which is where the City Warming Center takes place, we put in there a $30,000 cap because that's what we signed this MOU with them before we ever got approval from the county. And we're like, okay, we're giving you 15 or we're giving you 30. Maybe the county wants to do their own thing and they'll sign their own MOU with you. And then everything happened. So I had to get an addendum because we can't have a contract out there that says we're only going to spend 30,000 and then start spending more than that, that we could get in trouble with the state. So we had to send out this addendum, and so they have signed that now, and so we've resumed paying invoices, and we're going to keep paying them out of our budget. I've talked to our controller about this, anticipating that we will get this money from the county to kind of pay back what we're spending. But the total amount that for all of the days that it's been activated so far, which is 37 this winter since we started in November, like 15th or something, which it's about $44,400 of funding that we have spent. If we get 15,000 from the county for this year, plus our $2,500 grant from Duke Energy, we have $47,500 for this program. And so that would leave us with the remaining balance of $3,100 for this year. We can still activate if we need to, but it's looking like in my 2-week radar, we're probably not going to need to activate any more this year. I went ahead and let the community foundation know because they set aside money for us if we did.
Didn't break it.
I don't know what that is. He did not talk to, I think that is a personal donation to them, and that's not to cover the costs of it. So I was not involved in that. I think that there's if I were to take a guess there, some political elements there, since his opponent was one of the no votes.
Right. Well, that's great. That's what it was. But I was like, where's that $7,500?
Not to us, but to the warming center. And I hope that he splits it between both warming. But it's his money. But we have our relationship with MHA. But I hope maybe gives them both. Anyway. Another thing that I'm working on, I talked to is Kelly Miller from the Community Foundation. We've talked about doing a public facing fund that the Community Foundation would house. And so that the public, we have all this energy and people want to donate, that we can give it to the Community Foundation. That way it's being invested as opposed to, and then it would be at the city's discretion to kind of use to fund the city warming center. I still encourage people to give to MHA and to give to Pathways, and but we would like to maybe have this fund where people can donate. Another warming center update is that the Bridge Church had been operating a warming center, and they have publicly stated that they will not be operating a warming center in the future, which is going to significantly limit the number of, or lower the number of beds that we have for folks. And so that as we approach,
What was the reason? Funding, volunteers?
unclear. They don't come to the Homeless Coalition meetings. That is a message that's coming through someone that volunteers there. So
They were struggling getting volunteers. So that they did too much.
they spent a bunch of money though on all stuff, so it just breaks my heart. But anyway, those are my notes on warming center. Are there any questions? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So how many beds were there before Bridge dropped out?
They could have, well, originally when they were at is it 19? They had 20 beds, and then they had 50 beds when they moved into this place called the Out OC or something. It's a different building. They had 50 beds there, and we can fit about 40 people at Lotus, and then Pathways can house another 50 or so people. Yeah, I mean, they were all pretty even in how many, about 40, 50 people. Yeah, concern.
Okay.
And as of, I don't have our most recent pit count number, but in last year it was 194 people were counted as experiencing homelessness, and 194, but that's not always the most
It's not, yeah.
accurate
It's a
number.
point in time.
Yeah,
And it's in the dead of winter.
Okay.
And they don't find them all.
yeah.
Okay.
They
And
try to
this year
offer
they
food
did
that
it-
come
So it's
and
not
they
a
fill it up.
reliable.
And this year they did it when we had this like crazy storm, and then
Yeah,
they gave extra
I'm amazed
time,
they
and
got
so
194.
that was
Oh,
last year.
This year's
So
gonna
I
be
don't
terrible.
know what this year will be,
Okay.
and I again, like, we helped create those kits that
Yes.
the team at Pathways gave out, and they gave out all 255 kits, but I don't know if that means we have 255 people that counted, and I don't care how they gave them out. I know that they went to folks and they made a small difference in that day. But anyway,
If anybody wants to chip in to that New Life Church on Ohio Street, and we turn it into a community center.
that's my vision, is that we just need
Uh-huh.
it to be like a community center. You can have basketball and
Everything.
everything there, but then, I mean, sadly, it will have
That's a good
to.
question.
no
I
more-
wanna
no
try-
basketball.
I want to move the price in there too.
Started.
And then we
Bought
all
all
work
church.
together. We put a clinic, we put hair salon, we put dentist office, we have one everything. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Hey.
But I have one, New Life Church, it's, on.
Is it the one that's right there on like 8th and
It's right
Ohio?
downtown, yeah, it's right downtown.
It used to be a fitness
If
center.
anybody's got
Fitness
some dollars in their
experts.
pocket, I got like $100 to chip in. I'm ready.
There's also a warehouse that is
Yeah.
really big that I've calculated how many square feet we need. And I was like, oh wow, that place is just the perfect. And then I had that when the wigwam was closing, I was like, we could use the
That was
wigwam.
fascinating.
No, anyway, never mind. I always have these crazy ideas about where we can create the warming center, but I don't have any money. But we do have money for this neighborhood investment grant program. If you haven't had a chance to watch the the city council meeting from last Thursday, we had our students present, and I'll send out a digital version of their research that they did. We are going to take some parts of what they did, but we won't. Everything that they put together is lovely and amazing, but there's some, limitations and things that we will have. They have a really robust marketing plan that I really like, and they have like workshop ideas that I think we need to for sure do. But I will send out that digitally what they researched. But that will be that's a project that won't get launched until a little bit later in more May. Bus shelters. I'm back on the bus game. Free transit is still going great. We had more bus riders in February of 2026 than we've ever had in a month. It was like almost 25,000 riders or rides taken. And that was the highest number. I was like, that's a short month too. And I think we had to like close the bus one day for cold.
They track the numbers.
They click a button every time somebody gets on the bus. It's not very high tech, but every time it's like just a little quicker. There are more advanced, which again, we have no money, but they're called automatic passenger counters, and they use heat cameras to like detect when people are getting in and off of buses and subways. And so like the NYC subway system uses those automatic passenger counters, and buses do too. But anyway.
Do we still have this in routes?
Yes, it's quite challenging to get a route to change,
Okay.
but we are looking to install new bus shelters.
Okay.
We only have, I think there's 11 shelters in town along our many, many miles of buses. So our goal would be first to replace the ones that we have because they are not in great shape, but we're meeting not obviously today, but in a week, next Wednesday, to finalize the kind of design and placement of it. Our plan is to do at least 5 this year using local money, and then in 2027 to try to do additional bus shelters using federal money and try to do some federal stacking where you can redo sidewalk in like a 2-mile radius of a bus shelter using the same Department of Transportation funds. From what I understand though, even though you're getting this money from the federal government, there are a lot of extra things you have to pay for. So it is not necessarily, despite it being free money, it ain't free. But we're gonna try. We're exploring that option for 2027, but we do have $100,000 set aside this year for bus
What's
shelters.
the shelter cost?
We did a project last year and we looked at three different companies that do prefab shelters, and the one that we liked the best, I can't remember, it was like $15,000. But I can check on this.
Can we have Rose Holman to bus drive?
Yeah, well, we talked about that. Well, the
I
ones,
think your ridership would like quadruple.
Yep, I think it only comes to bachelors.
Yeah.
The last, but it doesn't go.
Gotta go to Walmart and buy it already?
Maybe,
we used to go to Rose Holman,
but I
but
don't
then
think-
Oh,
something
they went
happened.
to Myers, I think so.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of employees that I know there's.
But that's
Okay,
good, because last
so-
year you only went to bachelors, you didn't go all the way.
There's three different size shelters that you can, there's like a small, medium, large, and they, you can buy this one was
You
like,
say 11 shelters are available. is that right?
I'm pretty certain. So they're like, you can get a barrel roof or a slope shaped roof, but they're in like, the smaller ones are in the like $9,000-$10,000 range, and the largest ones are
I've never been in a shelter. Are they warm? What?
You can install a warmer, so that's an additional cost. Like a trash can is an additional $800.
Okay.
Bike racks are an additional like $500 to $800. Solar panels that would then allow you to have phone charging in them. Those are additional costs.
Yes.
Solar mobile device charging is another $2,000. You can have all sorts of
Now,
add-ons.
is this money could be invested in the shelter? What about the bus itself?
We have money for bus like improvements, but this money has been earmarked specifically
For the
for
shelter.
this shelter
Okay,
project.
okay.
So we actually did have a lovely Rose Holman student last year help with this project. He
Okay.
still works for us on a part-time basis. His name is Grayson. He's very sweet, but he and I worked on a grading system to grade all of our current shelters that we have. I mean, ultimately they're all not great, but
I read somewhere that we can invest the money in cameras, is that right? Like in surveillance.
that's for this other grant program. But
Okay,
for
for
this,
these cameras.
I mean, we're not going to install cameras at them, but I mean, we could, but we won't.
Don't install cameras, you can prevent haste.
I know, yeah. You,
Today, it's important to have the medical everywhere. Prevent crime, I guess.
yeah. Yeah. I think there's kind of
We're not there
yeah.
yet.
There's like do we need
Yes.
more eyes? Yeah. I don't know. I have thoughts.
I see it in everybody.
I know. Um,
6:30 meeting.
Oh, okay. You're good. And then,
So this is just.
no, you're good. And other questions about the bus
No,
shelters?
that's it. I just wanted to clarify about the shelters.
Okay.
Is the project still going? Are we still working on the shelters program?
Yes. So next week I'm meeting with our engineering department to finalize
Okay.
which ones we're gonna do. Because I think there has to be a little bit of concrete work done, and we're
Okay.
hoping to maybe do it as a change order onto our sidewalk projects that we're already doing. So they have to lay a concrete pad,
Okay.
and then they put the shelter on the pad, and we're gonna use hopefully local people or like our own staff, like city staff, to do the install to save money.
In all the shelters? Or is that a particular?
Just, yeah, so we have to finalize what we're gonna
Okay.
do. Our goal is to replace what we have before we build new, though.
Okay.
So it would be like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah,
9, 10.
include the ones that we already have.
Okay, there's 15. Well, actually, that one's gone. It got
Okay.
moved, so there's 14.
14, okay.
What's the material?
how would there, like the shelter itself, it's like it's a prefab built metal structure. We've looked at kinds that have plexiglass or have like a metal, like with little holes in it or
Yes.
something. Those lets in wind, but it's less likely to be broken.
And I guess it has the map of the route of the bus.
Mhm. Yeah, we will put signs in them. Yeah. I'm trying to go fast. And if we need to if you're all like, we need to adjourn, we'll adjourn and we'll finish everything else up another time.
Something at 8:30.
Okay.
Hopefully you're
I'm by that. Me too.
Yeah, we're really in trouble.
Okay. I'm like, I'm about to have to cater these meetings. No. I have in the director's report section that the financial report, which is turned the other way. I put in here a little bit expanded of kind of where we're at, project spending, to give you context into what we've spent this year, what we've kind of said we're going to probably spend, and what will be then left. We kind of touched on this last time, but I have final numbers on something. So, for example, Pride Fest. Last year we did $3,000. We kind of talked about doing a $3,000 sponsorship again. Same with Terre Haute in the NAACP dinner. If that happens again, doing that. The MLK Day of Service, what we've ended up spending, the total project cost was about $3,600. But $1,900 of that was spent last year. And that was pretty much all of the food items that went into those, along with the gloves and socks into the kits. The other stuff that we purchased was the laundry baskets that we put the completed kits in, the plastic bags. ISU did. So, I mean, actual total project cost was even more than this because ISU got $2,500 to buy all of the hygiene items, the hats and the backpacks themselves. So, I mean, it's an expensive project overall. We did receive $1,000. The other thing is we bought volunteer t-shirts, which cost it was $965. So, expensive project, good service to the community, don't get me wrong. But I wanted you to kind of be aware. Out of this year's money, though, it was only $17,1091 that we've spent. We spent $684 last year on the Black History Month banners. If we decide to do 9 again this year, that would probably be about the same cost. Black History reception, the total was $495.24. We actually saved money on the medals this year. We had just gone with the same vendor the last several years, and then they closed down. So we found a new vendor, and it was actually cheaper. We spent $179.50 on the Unity and the Community medals. And then the book club, we've already purchased those books. We still have a few left over. I think it was 60 books total, and they were about $6. So $346.20. That means that about $10,231.85 has either been spent or is committed loosely, which leaves us with $5,768.15 out of our $16,000. Remembering that we got $15,000 from the city and $1,000 grant from Duke Energy. So we've got $16,000 in that account. If you look at the two departmental statement of activities, the first one is the casino, which is where that money comes from. And that 2,731.85 matches to that, what number was in the other column, which is how much we've actually spent. We haven't spent $10,000 yet. We haven't done these sponsorships. But just so you see that. Now, moving into that second one, we will not see that number, that 15,000 here grow to 16,000. What will happen is there will be $1,000 added onto here into civic promotions here. We can't appropriate money to the casino fund, so we're going to have this weird $1,000 sitting in here, but it will be earmarked as civic promotions. Just want to make everyone aware of that. I think it's in here, and I'll just say it now. I'm going to city council in April to have that money appropriated. It got into our account just at the end of February, so.
So you're gonna ensure that it was encumbered?
It'll be there'll be no encumbering necessary. We'll spend our money. We don't have, but that gives us an idea of that. We have about $5,700 to spend on other programs. Is there another event locally we want to sponsor? Or is there,
Conferences or training that you're going to?
that would not come out of civic promo. Last-
5 that's left, right?
No, that comes out of my $2,000 for instruction and $2,900 out of travel, which I spent a little bit of that money on traveling around for the Unity community. I did. I was late. I felt bad, but it's further away than you think. Anyway, I don't have the ADA conference. We talked about that last year. I can't go this summer. I will be out of town. The thing that has come up is that there's this Chamber of Commerce, sort of. It's the West Central Indiana Partnership Leadership something program that last year they asked me to apply to, and I said that I couldn't because I'm in a different leadership program this year. This one would be, I applied as like a part of my job, and I asked to defer it, and they said, yes, you can defer your acceptance. But then they sent me an email and they're like, can you reapply? We changed the application. And I was like, you said I would get deferred, so I'm not reapplying. But then I heard through the grapevine that they really want me to do it. And I'm like, I don't know. So maybe I'll come next time and ask, but we don't have any plans yet for instruction. I don't know. I'm too busy.
Just one more thing.
Anyway, everything else, we haven't really spent that much in anything else. I do have to, next month I'll pay my Canva subscription. It came on my credit card bill, but I haven't gotten that bill yet. Any questions on our financial statement?
Are we planning to do the same activities next year?
So
Invest in the same activities next year?
the Pride Fest and Juneteenth, we've been contributors of the last 2 years. So probably, but that's not up to me. It's up to you all.
Can we add or delete one from here?
Add or delete?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Unless it's already
We
been.
have $5,000 to spend, so.
But we,
What
yeah.
are you thinking?
No, because I belong to the Hispanic community on campus and in Terre Haute, and a few years ago we used to do the City of Terre Haute Hispanic Heritage Month celebration on September 16th. But I haven't seen it, and I don't know who was the sponsor. Perhaps this commission was. I don't know.
We
Because
were not, but we would love to be.
I
Yeah.
have not been involved with this. It's my first time, but I would like to see that coming back to Terre Haute. I remember participating with Indiana State University with the Hispanic students, and I saw a lot of Hispanic community members promoting the businesses, small businesses,
Yeah.
at the park. And it was a
That
good
would be
celebration that we had, like some performances from Indianapolis on, food trucks, Hispanic food trucks, and it was packed. I think it was before COVID or right after COVID, and then I didn't see it anymore. So I know that the Hispanic community has been growing and growing in Terre Haute.
Yeah.
So, it's just something that
We would love that.
Maybe
that I would like.
community
you to think about.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Maybe we can put something together, you know.
Yeah.
There's Asian festivals that are primarily sponsored by professors from the Yale State University.
Yes, I am aware of
We
that.
haven't had it this summer, but in there.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
Find out who,
Yeah.
find out who used to do it, who used to
Yeah.
organize it all.
yes.
So we have sorts
Yes.
of fun things if you
Yes.
want.
It was through ISU.
No, it was through the city of Terre Haute. Yes, it wasn't through ISU. I have been at ISU with the Hispanic students. I came to participate as
Mm.
Hispanic community, school community,
Right.
but not as a Terre Haute community. I was there with the rest.
Mm.
But I know that this was sponsored by the city, but I don't know. I have to double check on names
Yeah.
and see what, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember all the Mexican local restaurants
Mm.
promoting the restaurant, all the businesses
Yes.
like hairstylists and other people.
Yeah, we need that
Yeah.
because the Hispanic community is actually
Yes.
pretty underground. You know,
Yes.
we don't see them a lot. They're not
Exactly,
out.
and then with what is happening, you know, we need to support them.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what that's one of the
Yes, please, yes,
reasons
please.
why I accepted to be here, because I really want to advocate
Yes.
for the Hispanic community.
Yeah, I grew up and spent most of my life in California.
Yeah.
And when I moved here, I didn't even realize, when I went back to visit the very first year, we landed and we went into Walmart, it was all bilingual, and I could hear all the
Yes.
Spanish, and I went, I'm home. Because I never hear it here, right? And there you hear it all the time.
And other thing that I would like,
I know, I go, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah.
other thing
Share.
that I would like is to provide the Hispanic community at the library education, the ESL. There are a lot of parents and newcomers that they need English as a second language. We used to have courses that back in the day, like
Yes.
15, 20 years ago. We used to have like classes for Hispanic families
I
at the
think that
library, and we don't have
what's
that
her
anymore.
name?
Yeah.
She works with Carrie Labella. She used to run a group,
Yeah,
a
exactly.
language
They
group.
always ask me. I
Mhm.
have a lot of people that come to
Yeah.
this community from, with their kids, because they come to the United States,
Mhm.
and they always ask me
Mhm.
about it, and I don't have a place where to send them to.
Mm.
And they used to have it at the YMCA for free too.
Really? And our park offers ASL classes, so maybe that's something we could explore. The parks offering other language. I mean, it's a language class. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. Well, if you do know,
St. Mary the Woods College also offers ESL programs,
oh, okay.
Also.
so that could be a part.
That would be a good one. Yeah, to like have it be a partner with the university, especially.
Right.
If you do find, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I can find information
About-
and then I can share with you
Yeah,
and see what
or about the festival. Yeah. Like I said, there's that $5,000 that uncommitted right now, or if we need to alter our other things because we need to divide more evenly, I think our groups will be understanding of we got to spread the love evenly.
Yeah.
And the reason we did 3,000 is we did 3,000 for one, so we did 3,000 for the other, and so we kind of like to be
because
equitable.
the goal for us is to
I guess it's more
really,
equal. But
support all the diversity in our city. That's our part of our values.
Yes.
The Girl Scouts building used or
there for the soil and water meeting. But I don't know if it's like used for Girl Scout things.
I mean, I don't know if it's used for community.
Yeah.
That would, for
Yeah.
classes or something, that would be a.
Yeah. I don't know where. I think that they do the ASL classes at the Torner Center at Deming Park.
Right.
That's where they offer those classes. But we kind of have a weird contract or lease. It's with the Girl Scout building.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't totally know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that before, we do have to accept that into this
Get a motion
report.
to accept the budget as presented by AT.
I make a motion to accept the budget report.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Yes, favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? All opposed, motion carries.
They said I'll oppose, and I'm like, what? The only thing for MLK Day is that the funds from Duke Energy were distributed on February 28th. They will be appropriated at the April 9th, 2026 city council meeting. They do the distribution at an end of a month, and for some reason we got pushed to February, and so we didn't get the funds until the end of February. And then I had to fill out paperwork at the beginning of March to get it put on the April meeting. So our January program is finally getting paid for in April. I mean, it's been paid for, but just wanted you to let you know about that. Black History Month, a couple little updates I wanted to share. I always like social media statistics about our social media posts, mostly because they are some of the highest interacted with posts I think that the city puts out, specifically the city page. The mayor, people love him, so he always is getting love on his stuff, but our posts have a lot of love. So average reach per post was over 14,000 users, which is on average we were seeing 600 people engage with the post. So clicking, sharing, liking, commenting, all of those different things.
And this is through
The City of
Facebook?
Terre Haute Facebook. Yeah, we only do
Facebook.
Facebook.
I see.
I don't try to do the Twitter. It's too scary. You get too many negative things there. And maybe we need to put some positivity out there, but
Because I don't see the word Facebook in here.
oh, I'm so sorry. I don't, I put social media because I just think of that as social media, but yes, it is Facebook, and it's the City of Terre Haute Facebook. Additional observations that I had was that the most shared post was Carl Ross with 62 shares. And I'm not surprised by that because his stuff went totally viral, and the story about Carl Ross is being shared. And I want to take this time to say congratulations to Dee for that resolution that she wrote and put forward to the city council. There will now be a road or street named the Carl Ross Memorial Way. And his his grandchildren wrote a letter of thank you that was read at the last city council meeting.
Wonderful.
That was really touching. So thank you, Dee, for your advocacy.
Thank you, Dee. I don't know you, but thank you.
Yes.
You're very welcome. That was a labor of love.
Yes.
And I think, just a quick sidebar on that Michelle said she was gonna connect with you, on, when they would actually put that sign up.
Yes.
So,
I will talk to Brian Cotti
okay.
tomorrow. I'll just send him a
I'm only
text.
saying that because I'm gonna be out of town.
Yes,
probably
and we,
April.
okay, and we can wait
Yeah.
and do it when Carl's grandchildren can come if they would like. There's absolutely no reason we can't schedule that around that.
Okay, perfect. I will communicate that. to them.
Yeah. So we'll get everybody in a message to talk through that.
Okay.
We had most comments was Herman Sloss, Dr. Sloss. Most reactions, so that's heart, carrying, was Miss Tranny Granger with 467 reactions.
Yeah.
So I thought those were cool, just some little fun statistics. We love sharing the stories of community members, and I think that, the banner program is excellent, and actually the banners are still up. I don't want them to get damaged, but it is nice to still see them. Anyway, Anyway, but the social media posts are such a different way to like interact with folks and share stories. And I would love for both of those types of programs to like be replicated in other ways. But we still need those website bios of Florence, Cooper, Margaret Taylor, and Reverend Malone. I'm gonna get working on that this month. I'll see what I can do about maybe getting.
Just saw Dwayne at the oversight committee.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah, the last
he
time.
left before it was over.
Yeah, and then he came to city council and he then he left that too early, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I talked to Dr. Mary last night though, and she told me a long time ago that she was going to retire in May, but she's not. So yay, we're going to work with her specifically. She told me that she'd pass that class along to somebody else, but her class will help us do the evaluation that we talked about. So this summer we'll be working with the PhD cohort to take a look at this program's been going on for 2 years now. How can we improve it? And so it'll be kind of an independent body telling us how we can improve. And that's something where we really love to partner with our universities.
Yes.
We've done a lot with ISU specifically. And so if there's ways, I know you don't speak for the university here, but if there's ways that, you think of things that we can partner with the university, we love it. The students are incredible. Quick thing on book club. We have our book club on the first Tuesday of every month, except for May. We're going to have to change the date because that's election day, and probably don't want people to say, "Oh, well, I didn't vote because I came to the book club."
So this one is 807.
Yes, and if you don't, and I can get you a copy of the book if you're interested. There's no pressure.
That day is my birthday.
Oh, and there's absolutely then no pressure. But we have it in that building inside of Collett Park. And this last one was really wonderful. Number one, thank you to Justin and the Terre Haute Police Department for purchasing the cookies for us.
Yeah.
How many people did you
We
have?
had, how many did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 people there. Which not, a ton, but it was a very fruitful discussion. It was very lovely. Things that I like is that the location is improved, and we would have been out of luck. MCL closed. If we would have had it at MCL this year, we would have been.
Was it cold?
What?
Was it cold?
Oh, it's indoors.
It's
The pavilion, the Collett Park.
inside
It's inside a building.
okay,
Yes,
okay, gotcha.
yes. We had that thought too. People thought it was a shelter.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So where is it in Bevin Park? In what?
Collett
Collett
Park.
Park.
There's
Yes,
like a stone building.
Yes, I know what it is. Yes.
But anyway, MCL closed. Anyway, but I wish that the chairs were a little bit more comfortable at Collett Park. They're kind of metal folding
So,
chairs, but
when you finish this book, what's next?
we didn't do a second. Like we just kind of finished that book. Then we waited until the following January to start. But if somebody has
I have
interest,
ideas.
okay. Personally, this is something I let somebody else kind of do for
Okay.
us. So our friend Ann Durazio leads this.
Okay.
It's not something that I particularly have time to like do all. She does like book summaries
Sure.
and prepares. I do read the book beforehand, but and I go and buy the cookies, but that's it.
Okay.
But it's nice. It's a good community building, and so we've kept it around for that reason. But
So how long have you been?
this is our second year doing
Oh.
it. Yeah, we read a book by Dr. King last year, and that one we had a really good turnout for. We had probably like 60 people come over the course of the different meetings. Some people stopped coming after a meeting or two, and that's okay. Anyway, I'm trying to speed through. I'm really trying. No. And I love the questions, but I cannot seem to not elaborate. We did the unity in our community again this year. It's always just my word of the month has been charming. They're just so sweet, the second graders. You know, the question is, how would you welcome a new person into your school? And so many of them have like a first instinct of like, I'll just, come sit next to me. And like, that's wonderful. And I think that they also talk about like, if the person is different from you, like that's okay. And you should still be like welcoming of them. And, things about like, I won't let you get bullied, or I'll be your friend. And like, this one girl cracked me up. She's like, and we can go over to your house. I was like, great, invite yourself over. And one girl, she wrote 6 pages, which most kids write like one front side, real big handwriting. She explained every class procedure that they had. It was wonderful. Yes, but I travel. I have to do my mileage report, which I was so shocked. I drove 154 miles around Vigo County. I didn't realize our schools were so far away. I mean, until I'm in the car and I'm like, oh, I need to get there quick. Anyway, yes, yes, all the way north, Rio Grande. I think that's our furthest north, and then very far south, Riley, Hoosier Prairie, Dixie B. Those are all. And then I went west of the river, the west schools, and or is there just one over there, Fayette and Consolidate, and then all out east, Lost Creek. Oh, and they have so many classrooms there. Anyway, we got good news coverage, which was good. And then I put the pictures from it so you can see. Devaney did their whole thing, so I just copy and pasted that, but then I tried to include some other pictures. You can see I have a theme of I like a white shirt. I'm like, I swear these are all on different days, but I wear a lot of white shirts. Anyway.
That is a cool program.
Yeah. Yes, Shelly did tell me, so she's the like writing director for the county, that she's retiring at the end of this year. So I do need to make sure I'm proactive next year and that this doesn't get lost after she retires. Any other questions on that? You all received a copy of the annual report in your email in advance. Well, I can't send it over email because it's too big. If there are any changes to this, I did get, Katie Luger had sent me something like, if you want a different photo, like I think Jackie, I may have just found something online and put it in here. Like if that's not the photo you want, that's totally fine. I'm happy to change it. If there's typos or other things, this is something we're required to do. But of course, it's also lovely to reflect.
Yeah.
But our Black history, I pretty much used the same format we did last year, added in a page about all the community outreach that we did, since that was a really big addition compared to 24 to 25. I also did a little bit about free transit, since that's something you all had kind of been big advisors for, and really that came out of the listening sessions that we did. So I included that graph so you could see just how much more ridership we had. But there was like one typo that I did fix, and there was one photo that I was old from the year before I was using as a placeholder.
Did you say you emailed that?
Yeah, it was in the first email that was really long. It was a link to, and so if you see anything in there, I did actually that link might be to the old one, since the new one that everybody got today, it should take you to the folder. And if you click draft 2 instead of draft 1, that's the one where I fixed the typo.
You were busy last year.
Yeah, we try to stay busy here with this group, and but if there is anything, if you could let me know within the next couple weeks, I would appreciate maybe today that we maybe do something formalized, that this, pending any updates that I receive by April 1, because I need to take this to the city council and share it with them.
So can I get a formal motion that we approve the annual report as submitted?
I think a motion to approve the annual.
We get a second.
As
I approve it.
Okay, all in
It's
favor?
good to me.
All those opposed?
Oh, this looks very good.
Okay, motion carries. You can carry it on to the city.
Yes.
And we will make sure we get any other.
You have our permission.
Okay, great.
Well
The,
done.
thank you.
Very good.
It took, a little bit of time post the,
The rest of all your January.
oh, my January and February were quite busy, so I finished it up at the end of February. One more thing, if I can just add like one more very quick new business thing. So Dee, you're not here in person, but I would like to implement a new organizational tool to help everyone, which is these binders that everybody's materials are being placed into a binder instead of just a loose thing of papers. Part of it is we do have a new commissioner, and as you'll see, Dana has this Padfolio, but the place that I got that went out of business. And so I would have ordered you a new one, but I'm like, maybe moving forward, we could do binders instead. The binders that everybody has right now are a little bit small, but they're ones that I had on hand from the basement from maybe 20 years ago. So I'd like, if you all are maybe okay with this, I would like to spend about $126 on 12 new binders and binder dividers to put in between so you can flip to the correct month. And that way your packets are always there and you can reference back to last month.
We can put them there and bring
You
them
can
back
put
next
them
month.
and I will bring them, and I will hold on to them if you would like, but you're welcome to be the owner of your
I
binder.
think this is a wonderful idea. It's organized and we can follow through,
Love it.
and have evidence of what
Yeah,
we're
because the end of the
doing.
year, you have, but I thought this was.
I know, and I was like, I'm like, are people losing these?
these?
And I don't
I
know.
mean, everything is digital, but I like paper. I like
Yeah.
to read. I like paper.
You know.
I know, that's where I got the idea.
After the first meeting, I said,
And I'm like, I could do better. I could probably number the pages, but whatever.
Okay, so can we get a motion that AT can spend $126 and change, whatever it was?
Yeah,
$125.99.
approved.
Okay, motion, second, all those in favor? Yay, we want binders.
Okay.
All opposed? Nobody, yeah. Motion carries.
Why
Spend the money.
No, I'm just kidding. Any color works for me.
Okay. Yeah, I was going with the white. It was the cheapest. Anyway, if you all have anything to share before you adjourn the meeting, is how usually we kind of end the meeting. If you all have anything. I'm so sorry. It's 2 hours in.
When is our next meeting?
Let's say that out loud because it
Yes.
is not the third Wednesday.
That's right.
It is on your calendar, but it's April 22nd, Wednesday, April 22nd at 5 p.m. It'll be here. But that is because I will be out of town that week before. And I think I forgot to say it earlier. I will not be in the office April 22nd, tomorrow or Friday. I am traveling to Indy for a few meetings. Some of it like personal appointment, but then I'll just work from there because then I have another thing on Saturday there. So I'm just going to be working remotely from.
One more question.
Yeah.
I asked many questions. I'm sorry. What is our priority next project that you want us to be looking at so we get prepared for our next meeting? What meeting shall we attend? What data shall we look at? What is it, in your opinion, that we need to be prepared and get on it? Based on what we did
It just came at the end of all of our projects.
Yeah, I'm like, well,
Okay.
no.
November, December, we're
Okay.
like, project.
I know,
Yes.
so I need to.
Oh, yes. You
Yeah.
don't need to prepare anything. But those couple meetings that I mentioned, the city council meeting, if
Okay.
you want, that is not necessary for anyone to come to the one where
April 2nd.
where I will present the annual report.
Okay.
But then following the April 9th, I'll be appropriating that money, but those are not necessary for you to attend. I take care of all of that
Okay,
business
okay,
for us.
okay.
But if you, the thing I will send out is that neighborhood grant program.
Oh, okay.
I am going to be needing you all to help me at our next meeting, and I'll send out materials in
Okay.
advance
Okay.
to kind of talk through. Now that I've got the proposal from the students, I'm gonna refine a little bit and tell us, I think this is what we should do and what will actually work best, knowing the infrastructure that we have locally.
So that's our next big project.
Yeah, that's gonna be this grant.
What about the homeless that we will discuss here?
Yes, I'll also just kind of send the follow-up of like what we discussed. And then I don't know if we can talk about it more here next time. It was a very long conversation, so I want to be mindful. And if we want to have a different conversation elsewhere or have some smaller conversations in there, I don't have an action item there.
Okay.
Though.
Okay.
I appreciate this.
Thank you.
Yeah, the proactive.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll put you to work.
Yes, and then this summer we will have different events and things. We always go to like Family Learning Day at the library and have a table. We always do the Juneteenth celebration. So there will be volunteer opportunities for you to help at those events.
Excellent.
We need to adjourn.
Yes.
Make a motion to
Yes.
adjourn.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So I'll be there
Bye-bye.
next, I'll be there next time.
At the, oh, okay, that's, oh, lovely. Oh, yes, thank you.
Actually,
Sure.
I'm thankful. I'm afraid that's gonna.
Uh-huh.
Now